And welcome to yet another episode of Football Tussle. And it was an interesting last 7 days or last 5 days or whatever you want to call it. And there's no better place to start than the what's it called, formidable leaders there that have been top for I don't even know how many months. It's just months after months. And, the Emirates there. And as you are smiling there from like the Joker there, so
Beautiful.
Take it away. Take it away.
Listen, in Arteta we trust. In Arteta we trust.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said, in Arteta we trust.
Brilliant, brilliant. At last, 2023 is taking a couple of years as well, a few years, but
2 years almost.
Go on.
Listen, Arteta we trust, man. Edin KTR, I'm very sorry. Doubting your ability. Let me run through the people. Let me run through people and ask I need to apologize to Granite Jacker. I'm sorry I wanted you out of the club. My goodness. I look at the Arsenal board. I was complaining about the appointment of Arteta. I apologize. Listen, the whole Arsenal is like I got my Arsenal back. I'm proud to be an Arsenal fan. I'm rushing to watch games now. I'm making a point. I'm fitting my day to accommodate the Arsenal game. I don't miss it. Listen, amazing performance. It felt like watching Arsenal, Man United of old, in the Wenger and Fergie eras. It was a quality game. Hats off to Man United. They played a fantastic game, but Arsenal showed what champions are, and it reminded me of Arsenal back in the days. The last 20 minutes, Arsenal would just be all over you and attacking. And fair enough, we lost certain games during the Wenger era by doing that, but it's a joy to watch. And that's why I don't understand how people, or should I say my neighbours at Spurs who wear the whites, how they're enjoying Conte football. Now at Arsenal, I'm not only winning, I'm enjoying watching football, getting pleasure. It's all good, man. So listen,
I used to know that.
Sometimes in life you have to put your hands up when you make a mistake, and hands up. Well, relax. It's only half the season. Yeah. Only half the season. Yeah. Only one hand.
If you win the Prem, then it's
Prem is both there.
All right then. Well, I agree with you.
Crazy.
There you go.
But yeah. Listen. Wonderful.
There you are. I agree with you. What's it called? I know how you feel there anyway, because Liverpool once upon a time used to play that kind of football and high energy, never giving up till the fight is done. And then what's it called? You're enjoying watching them every game. Yeah, wonderful. And this was a big test for Arsenal there still, because obviously City had won a few hours earlier. So Arsenal went into this test, and it was good revenge for them because they were kind of robbed in the first game when they played Man United about 3 or 4 months ago still.
And people were saying about Arsenal, these run would define our season.
Oh, and definitely.
And I was thinking, if we get 3 or 4 points from these games, amazing. And it's 6 out of 6. So look, bring up Man City in there. Bring on Man City.
And the thing is, Arsenal used to have a problem playing against the top, top boys there. They've gone through Spurs double. They've done Liverpool earlier. They've done Chelsea. They've done Man United now. So and Newcastle were lucky to get a 0-0 draw with them because Arsenal were over them. And and there was questions, as you said, about Nketiah. Can he take the mantle from Jesus there? And he's taken it and even gone a bit better because he's a goal threat. Jesus. Does great stuff with awareness of what around the ball or whatever, but with Nketiah, most of the time he's in the box, and that's what you want.
They're two different kind of players, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, and then once again, as I keep saying, goals from different angles there still. And Saka there, he had Luke Shaw on ice skates or whatever, and Martinelli had one Basaka on on rollerblades or whatever. They're both fullbacks for Man United, and were falling around.
And let's not forget the signing of Midrick, because missing out on Midrick because we signed Trossard, and Trossard being introduced into the game actually made that quick turn, forward run, and made the play. It was part of the build-up play and passes Zinchenko to cross it. So, listen, right now we can't do no wrong. So carry on. Kudos to the Arsenal.
Well done to the Arsenal. Keep going. And what's it called? Keep giving slaps. This was a big slap there for Gary Neville anyway, especially. So right in his face. But what's it called? Keep going, Arsenal, for yourself and the fans or whatever. Definitely. And then what's it called? Man United. What a bad few days in London. You got done by Elise free kick. And I heard Elise is a Man United fan. Maybe that's why he didn't celebrate.
No celebration.
Maybe that's why. But who cares? He's always a bit like that, Elise, anyway, especially when he does his post-match, what's it called, talks afterwards, interviews. But yeah. Casemiro was a big loss there still. Blew himself in that game with a knee. He was lucky not to get a red card because he could have missed many more games.
He knew what was doing. He was doing. He didn't want to with Partey. He didn't want to with Partey.
Man United played to the final whistle there. To get done twice in injury time, you come like, what's it called? Eubank Jr. there still, done by Liam Smith there. And he had a Man United shirt on as well. What a bad weekend.
I saw that fight as well. Just a quick 30 seconds on that fight. I don't know what Eubank Jr. was doing. Came into the fight, fighting like Roy Jones Jr. The same position, same stance, everything. And I'm thinking, you're not Roy Jones. Roy Jones in his heyday was super quick. You're not super quick as Roy Jones. And Roy Jones, towards the end of his career, started losing all the time because that style you don't have the speed anymore. Anyway,
above his station. Above his station.
Bringing it back to United. Now, I think, listen, all bias aside, I think United have improved.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They've improved.
But this shows...
Ten Hag is doing wonderful things, but it still needs one or two players just to make them a bit better. But
yeah, he needs, what's it called? For me, it was, as Roy Keane said, a reality check to say, for all those Man United, the few Man United fans that had a dream when they were sleeping that they were in a title race or thought they could win the Prem, more that they could win the Prem. The 2 trips in London have woke you up. Wake up. Not going to win the Prem. But anyway, back to what's it called? Back to reality there for Man United. Van Horst, or whatever his name is. He's a Dutch, what's it called, half player of Peter Crouch. If you don't get the crosses in, he's useless. He's useless. Like Man United playing with 10 men. But anyway, well done for Arsenal. Halfway stage of the season with 50 points. Immaculate stuff. Keep it going for you Arsenal fans. But anyway, we'll see how it goes for the second half of the season. But moving on to other games there. The Terminator is back. 25 goals in 18 or 19 games played? My goodness. Already he's broken what last season's, what's it called, Golden Boot winner was on. At this rate, he should easily hit 40. He should break the all-time record of 34. If he doesn't he doesn't. But the worst thing is, if he gets that record and doesn't win the
Premier League,
disgrace. Not for him, but for Pep. But anyway, what's it called? It was a formality win for Man City over Wolves there still, because Wolves just came there awful for the first 40 minutes. I don't even know if they had a shot in that game. So well done to Haaland for getting back. And then we might as well just talk about the game before that, the one where Pep was ranting there once again. When they were 2-0 down, he was talking about the players, no hunger, the fans, there was no passion there. 2-0 down at halftime. He must have thrown the kitchen sink or the pizza, whatever you want to call it, boots at everyone there. Because the second half, change around to blow Spurs out the water at 4-2 was a wonderful result for them.
Nah, it's all mind games, man. It's all mind games from Pep, man. It's just the mind games and
I don't care about this. I don't care about that. I don't care about this.
It's not the mind games. You know, Pep cares because I still see Man City doing the same crap in the Champions League if they're not careful and losing again. So
it's true.
He cares about the Premier League. He cares about the Premier League, definitely. And I think he would come to hunt. I think if Arsenal win the league, that would hurt him a lot because you sold to the rivals. You sold Zinchenko and Jesus to your rivals. And they've ended up inspiring, Arsenal. So I feel like you just sour talk. But against Wolves,
maybe he thought they were not rivals. But yeah, go on.
Exactly. He thought they weren't going to do that great. But against Wolves, it's a formality win. So I don't really need to say much. Just that Haaland is a beast. The only thing is with Haaland, you have to feed the beast. You don't feed him, ain't nothing happening.
As I said, he's a statue of Etihad. But anyway, yeah, what's it called? They needed to just get that win anyway to just pull it away from their noisy neighbours, their Man United. But yeah, what's it called? The new manager of Wolves is doing a good job. It's just that in that game, it was expected that they would lose.
Oh
anyway,
no,
it's a free hit that game for them. So moving on to a game that people used to look forward to.
What, Chelsea Liverpool?
Yes, now it's a mid-table goneness, and no one there on Match of the Day. I don't know if on Match of the Day it was maybe the third. Was it the second to last game on Match of the Day? I didn't even watch Match of the Day because I don't watch Match of the Day when Liverpool are doing awful.
My goodness, let me tell you, good or bad, I ain't seen Match of the Day for the last 6 years.
There you go. But you possibly watch it soon now anyway. But Liverpool were awful in that game.
But anyway, go on.
I heard what's it called? A new nickname for is it Gappo? They said Crapo. They say Crapo. I'm sorry, I'm a Liverpool fan, but he was doing Howlers there still. He's come to a team that's got no confidence, and he's showing a bit of it himself there still. For me, at least Klopp made a few changes there, but at the end of the day, Liverpool possibly should have had a penalty. It was maybe because on another day, that handball there from Silva was Thiago Silva was a penalty. In my book. He knew what he was doing.
Where'd you want his hand?
He knew what he was doing. You saw his eyes there on his head. But anyway, what's it called? But moving on there, what's it called?
Crazy
the new player that Chelsea stole off what's it called of Arsenal. He does look like what's it called? It looks like he's a bit tasty, as they say.
Yeah. Well, pause. But no. He looks good, man. He looks good. But what? Listen,
he made Milner look like 57 for goodness sake. The way Milner was, what's it called, sweating there. Couldn't wait to get the number on. Get me off, governor.
Listen, anyone could do that to Milner these days. Milner's an old man. You know what I mean? He's an old man. I just feel like for me, listen, I think both managers. Sometimes it happens, and obviously I've never managed a football team in my entire life. But I would just say with Football Manager, sometimes you get tired of the team. You just lose the passion, and you're just going through the games, and things are not going well. You're just looking like, what should I do? Stale. And something just looks stale, and something has to happen for you to get that hunger again. And I feel like at Liverpool, especially, Klopp has sort of lost his way. He might be doing little tweaks, but he's lost his way. Because for me, for you to buy Gappo and still not address the midfield situation and buy Gappo was alarming. Shows the mind was good.
As I was saying, it was a red telephone call. Do you want this guy or not?
Exactly.
When he was asked about midfielders, the phone was hanged up. What's it called? John Henry is getting a bad press even from the Red Sox fans, but that's a talk for another day. But one thing that what's it called? We keep saying it a couple of times because I was even one member when we had a full amount of tusslers on here when we had 5. I said Salah questions about meriting such a contract. If we go back to the archives, Salah since that contract has got the flip-flops on. I don't know what's going on there, but it looks awful every game. But anyway, and also the mind's been gone from the African nations and also the World Cup qualifier. The mind has not recovered since.
Listen, all these players, once they fight for a bigger contract, they get it. It's
and they're on the beach.
Exactly. Salah's doing it. Ozil has done it. Adebayo has done it. They're at it, man. They've been doing it for years, man. This player.
There you are. Moving on quickly, just one question. Is either of those teams going to make the top 4? In my eyes, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think
they go on a great run. I think Newcastle collapsed.
I think top 4 is almost is made already. You got Arsenal, Man City, Man United, and maybe one entrant. So it will be tough. Might be a great fun, but it will be tough.
Let's quickly fly through the other games there still.
Go ahead.
Then it was the battle of whoever loses gets sacked. And unfortunately, it was the Toffee man who's, P45.
Oh, he's
got in the post. West Ham versus Everton.
But for me, he said he was
of his misery?
No, Leicester v Brighton is West Ham v Everton. Sorry, yeah. No. Yeah, he was happy. He was happy to leave that. He secretly and probably going to say he's devastated, but you don't want that on your CV. As a manager, you said get rid of me, and I told you I left you halfway through the season. I could have saved you. Another halfway, I could have saved you. You know, we went totally bottom. We're 18th or something like that. So 19th. So but
yeah, go on.
No. Listen, Everton. look, they're poison chalice. Like, there's nobody that's gonna go there and do something great. Let's be real. They need to bring old Sam Allardyce from his flipping is slumber to come rescue because
talking about talk about managers that they say is possible. There's the two names that are being thrown around are Bielsa, former Leeds manager. I'm sure even at this moment he still hasn't learned English, and then also Sean Dyche. That's the two managers that have been linked to this job.
Listen, if Everton get Sean Dyche and the Mike they finished.
But that shows you what middle table stock has even gone, even though they're not even middle table stock anymore. They're relegation stock.
And if Everton had any sense, they would open the purse. I don't know, they're tight on the money. They would do something because they're going to break their own history. They're going to break their rich history of never being relegated before. They're going to mess it up. And, this is, everything comes to an end. And I'm sure the Evertonians right now, they doing those, I don't want to say rioting, but making loads of noise.
Well, the problem is financial fair play's done them. Chelsea are doing all sorts of 500 million or whatever, but in Chelsea's case, because of in Everton's case, because of previous managers overindulging in rubbish players or 500 up to 600 million spent, that's affected even Rafa Benitez and now Frank Lampard, even though he's a poor manager anyway. And it's now going to affect whoever's in charge. But moving on, we'll see what happens there. What's it called? David Moyes has got a rest of a bit of ceasefire there on his head there.
He needs to. I think West Ham will be safe from relegation. They'll be safe from relegation this season.
Strikers is buying every second.
Samanka, they need to sort it out anyway. But go on.
We'll see how that goes anyway. We'll watch as one of our former people says, we'll watch those projects. But moving on there, flying through, Bournemouth, not much to say about Bournemouth Forest, but it's a good result for Bournemouth because they've been on a bit of a slide there. So for them to get a point at home there still against informed Forest was a good point for them, even though they've dropped into the bottom three there, Bournemouth. Do you want to say anything on that game quickly?
Nah, Bournemouth, they deserve to be what they are.
What's it called? Another team that was informed there, but had their their fire taken from them was Southampton versus Villa.
Oh, Southampton, yeah. That was they once again what Prowse got on the score sheet and they say VAR and listen.
It was a poor decision as well.
Yeah, I know. Listen, Aston Villa on the Emery. They're doing what they're doing. Okay, they're doing they're doing well, but
they said he's never got a goalless draw in his in his Prem career. Management. I'm not sure that was the record.
I mean, he's good, so it shows that he's doing something right. However, listen, clubs like Aston Villa, they really need to see that at the end of the season and say, what are we doing? Have some ambition, man. You've been in the Premier League for a long time. Emery's a manager.
Well, they spent a lot of money. They spent a lot of money under
Gerrard. There was a loose purse. So I'm just saying they've got a manager.
He was brought in to steady the ship, which is done. Possibly, if Everton had sacked Lampard earlier, maybe they could have got him. But we'll see how that goes. But for me, Southampton are still one of the favourites to go down, even under our former Grace Jones, Nathan Jones. We'll see how that goes.
I hope they stay up, though. Well,
I don't think so. I think the luck is running out of the Saints now. And moving on quickly to Leicester versus Brighton there, because everyone had that on their accumulators as a away win. So for Leicester somehow...
No. I did both teams.
Brighton away win, Brighton away win.
Yeah, I did both teams to score.
I had it as a Brighton away win.
Know yourself. That's why my accumulator came in.
Well, there you go there still. Leicester, Leicester did well to get something from that game there still because Brighton were another team that was informed. So that was a good point there for under pressure, a bit under pressure. Rodgers there as well still. Yeah. And this to say, Brighton, you're doing very well, but don't get too excited every game.
Listen, the goal Mitoma scored, my goodness, the boy. They're not missing Trossard. They got Mitoma what beauty.
They've even found a gem in 18-year-old Ferguson.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's scoring every game. If
Yeah,
every
that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
putting the likes of what's it called,
Welbeck,
Nunes,
Welbeck on
Gakpo,
the
you name it,
on
Son,
the
all
bench.
these
Yeah,
people to shame there, Silvardi or whatever. So
yeah,
good on him anyway. It's good to find those gems. Well done to Brighton for still showing that stuff there. Moving
yeah.
on to another game for the time permitting there. What's it called? Palace, what's it called? Versus it's a good result for Palace because they've come through a couple of tough games there and they're still picking up a couple of points to bring
Yeah.
back Vieira there. Newcastle, that's Newcastle's one problem. Very tight and steely at the back. It's just the goal, just to get the goal sometimes. They're not got
You
that
can't really.
final.
They don't
No,
listen.
no, I'm just talking about for Newcastle, just to find that last bit is
Yeah,
to find that goal scoring touch.
but
Amron, since the World Cup's been gone and come back or whatever, the Prem come back, he's lost his fire.
I was saying the other day. I said maybe Jack Billy needs to call him out again and this and get it.
Possibly,
For him to find his hunger again. But yeah, he's been poor. But the whole thing about Newcastle, I just feel like listen, that served them well. They're third in the league. They're flipping 6 points off City. That's amazing, man. Even though Crystal Palace would definitely take it, Crystal Palace would have been happy with a clean sheet as well because they don't really keep too many of those. So yeah, listen, I'll probably say a much better result for Crystal Palace, but Newcastle,
obviously,
I don't think they'll be too upset. Look, United lost ground. United lost ground. It's 1 point. So there you go. There you go.
For me, it's a bit like Arsenal Arsenal for the Premiership, for Newcastle for top 4. It's theirs to lose. It's that simple.
Well, so relax. Allow them kind of talks. Relax.
Well, I'm sorry. Don't
relax,
be shook.
Relax.
Anyway,
don't worry about not shook. Just relax. Don't
let
be.
Me move on anyway.
You're hoping they lose. You're hoping they lose it. It's theirs to lose.
Newcastle.
You're hoping Arsenal don't win the league.
No. I'm sorry. I even though I prefer Arsenal to win the league than Man City because I don't want this league to be turning into a Bayern Munich. So or a Celtic or whatever. Even though it's on it's not easy to say that, but it's like that. Moving on quickly to the last two games there. The Leeds versus Brentford in a feisty game there. I mean, Leeds are another team that's trying to find their identity once again under Jesse March. They keep floundering in games there. They don't know what they're doing under Jesse.
Honestly, I don't want to analyze Leeds because wherever I say this week, will be something totally different next week. So I don't know what you say with Leeds United. They literally they go at A side and they go at B side, and whoever turns up. So that's all I'm going to say on that matter.
So They're moving on to the final game. Then is which was just finished about 45 minutes ago, whatever. Spurs coming through with a tight straight win there and record equaling Harry Kane with his 266 goal there. Yep. So brilliant from Harry Kane because we're talking about that's what Harry Kane's after. He's after records there, and we're hearing reports as we said last week. As I said,
it's a contract.
That he wants to maybe get a new contract there.
It's crazy. And then he's literally sacrifices his trophy cabinet for a goal record. Maybe he said to himself, Alan Shearer's doing all right. He looks happy. But what he's forgetting, Alan Shearer he's got 1 Premier League title. He knew what it felt like to win the title.
There you go. So don't make that mistake, Harry. Don't make that mistake. Don't blow yourself.
As they say,
I'll take you at Liverpool. I'll take you at Liverpool, but there's no space now.
Harry Kane, show some sense, like Unagi.
There you go. Don't make that big error. You've already made it with your brother Charlie. Don't make it again.
Oh Lord!
I know you lost first, but win a trophy. Yeah. But anyway, that rounds it up, and then quickly the midweek games there. Carabao Cup. You expect tomorrow's game there. Newcastle to get the.
It doesn't matter about the Carabao Cup. I couldn't care less about the Carabao Cup. It doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Blown them. The Carabao Cup. Anyway, we're out. You're right. It doesn't matter because we're out as well, the holders. But yeah, Arsenal fans are on high. Everton fans, I don't know if they're on a bit of happiness there that finally Frank's gone. Liverpool fans are a bit, they don't know when the next 3 points are coming from in the Prem. Chelsea, I'm hearing late reports there. Maybe one, big fire, possible last chance, transfer bid for Enzo Fernandez.
It's enough
My
now.
God,
Just
it is enough. It's getting too boring there. So
boring,
and we'll see how it goes.
yeah.
But I hope you enjoyed our episode anyway. Well done
Yeah,
for sending in your comments and
subscribe,
likes.
view, show some love, spread it out there. It's not easy out here, you know. All right? It's not easy.
Also, if you want to come on as a guest, we haven't had a
True,
guest for a while.
it's been a long time we had a guest, though.
Put your name on the comments, and we will welcome you
Arsenal
on our
fans,
show.
Arsenal fans,
Spurs fans, Man United fans, City fans, every game, any team in the Prem fans, even Blackpool fans if you want.
Blackpool, they'll tell you, never mentioned us on the show. What are you talking about?
I just mentioned you now. 1 week, Blackpool. You haven't won a game since October 2022. No wonder you sacked your manager and you brought in a dinosaur in Mick McCarthy. But anyway, that's enough there for the Tangerines.
That's it. It's too bad.
He's just come back.
And as my famous guy said in Jim Carrey said, and that's the way the cookie crumbles there. And that's it for today.
That's it.
Have a good night, guys.